So here we are, Mindful Monday, back into our meditation groove. It's so nice to be here. And I think most of you know, but I'm Starr Shontere and so honored to be your help guide in this guided meditation. We meet every Monday, same link, same time, 4 o'clock on Pacific time. And then, of course, it's uploaded to YouTube so that you can continue to practice what we've going through this on this day. Or if you can't tune in to the Zoom, then you can always catch it on the YouTube channel. So each week we come into our practice and we start out with just a nice, easygoing, settling meditation. Brings us home to the body, brings us home to the present moment. And then we move into what we call the heart of the practice. And today, the heart of the practice is all around feeling our feels. Feeling the feels, being the observer of those emotions. And so we're going to do a little practice with that today. But we'll start out with our settling meditation. And so we're just going to come into that heart space. Just breathe into your heart. Exhale. And see if you can feel your heart beating. Maybe taking this time to thank your heart. Thank your heart for showing up here, right now, in this practice. Thank your heart for sustaining your life. And now we'll just bring that awareness to your feet. Bringing that awareness to your feet and softening. Feeling the feet, the toes. Breathing in, softening. Our feet carry us so far, hold us up. Thanking our feet. All those nerve endings, every nerve either begins or starts in your feet or ends in your feet. Bringing your awareness now to your legs. Breathing into your legs, softening the calves. Softening the knees. Breathing into those quads and softening. Each in-breath brings you back home. Each exhale, we get to let go. Let go of any of the tensions that you've acquired from the day. So we just feel that breath moving in and out of the legs. Softening, allowing. And seeing if you can soften just a little more into your knees. Releasing that tension that you're having around your knees. Good. And bringing that awareness now into the pelvic bowl. Really breathing into those hips. Expanding, softening, and allowing. All through the buttocks and the base of your spine, breathing in, coming home, home to the body, softening, softening. Noticing how your belly feels in this moment. And just breathing into the belly. Softening, softening the belly. Noticing how, as we soften into the belly, how that spine just begins to open just a little more. Maybe you can feel the expansion happening between each vertebrae. Breathing deeply into the belly again. And releasing, softening. We tend to carry so much of our old stuff in the belly. So it's good to come home and soften the belly with intention. And just let loose. And coming into the chest, just breathing awareness. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest with each breath. Filling the lungs. And exhaling any tensions, any grief, sorrow. And coming into the heart space, bringing the awareness to that very special place at the back of your heart. Breathing in and softening on the exhale. Noticing that space between your shoulder blades. And just soften and soften. Bringing breath and awareness. And as the mind wanders, we just come back to the body, come back to the breath, and continue to soften. Breathing into the shoulders, the arms, down to the fingers. Feeling the weight of the world just rolling off of your shoulders. Opening up that cervical spine with breath and intention, breathing in. And on the exhale, just softening, opening it up. Feeling your neck just softening. And that space that is right there at the base of the cervical spine where your head comes right in to meet on top of your neck. Just breathe some space, some softness into that area. That occipital ridge. Another place where we tend to accumulate stagnant energy. So we just bring breath and intention, and we soften. Noticing that spaciousness that is available in your body. And bringing your awareness to your jaw. Perhaps bringing that little slack jaw. And soften, soften, soften. Bringing that little half smile to your face. Knowing that all is well. Right here, right now. In this moment. In this room. In this time and space. All is well. Bringing that awareness to that area around your eyes and the temples. Just breathing in and softening. And around your forehead. Breathing in and softening. This is your third eye, the place of our intuition. So we really want to bring that awareness of softening. And coming to the top of your head. You can picture and sense or feel a beautiful lotus flower at the top of your head. With breath and intention, let's just go ahead and open all the petals there of that beautiful lotus flower. Opening the crown chakra allows us to be open and available to receive messages from the divine, from your guides. And you can go ahead and sweep your access point up and into your crown. That access point is the area in which you access information outside of your energy field. So if you're unsure of where that is, go ahead and sweep any openings that you have in your energy field up to your crown. And that's just with breath and intention. And just feeling your body right now. And if there's any areas left here in the physical body that are carrying around any tensions, we'll just go ahead and breathe into that area of your body and see if you can soften just a little more. We practice in our meditation each week this settling meditation to come home to the body, come home to the present moment. Feeling at your body and understanding its presence, its matter. So often we recognize the things that are happening emotionally within ourselves by recognizing what's happening in the physical body first. Sometimes we develop pains and twitches and indicators within the physical body that are telling us that we need to address something emotionally. So if we start recognizing the body as it is, then we can start doing a deeper inquiry. We can get curious about what the emotional states are as well. So often we get asked the question, how are you feeling? And without even thought, we just say, fine. We haven't stopped to think, to feel, to even assess how we're actually feeling. So in the heart of our meditation today, we're going to drop into feeling the feels, observing the feels, not being triggered by our emotions, but just recognizing them for what they are, seeing them, observing them without the stories. And there lies the challenge. So if you would like to dedicate your practice today, now is a great time to drop into that dedication, dedicating it to a special being. So we understand that our emotions can hold us hostage in a way with their stormy winds of change blowing through the body, sometimes debilitating the body. And so we want to start recognizing when our body is holding on to various emotions so that we can move through them with that grace and ease. And rather than becoming reactionary based on emotional triggers, that in fact we're responding. We're responding from a place of higher consciousness. So often we start feeling these emotions in the physical body before we are even aware that we are experiencing the emotion. So for example, when one gets angry, you can maybe feel your jaw tense, the belly tense, the heart might start pounding. And it sets off emotional triggers within the body that these thoughts, these emotions can actually inundate us for minutes, hours, days, if unresolved, if continued to be pushed down, then maybe even years. And this is because our emotions, be they anger, peaceful, anxious, happy, sad, it doesn't matter what the emotion it is. The emotion activates the nervous system to release those chemicals in your bloodstream so that they can distract our focus, move the energy away. When our emotions are that strong, we tend to feel as if they are the enemy, refuse to accept. But refusing to accept them and refusing to accept how we feel only postpones the inevitable. Every emotion we deny ultimately returns. And what we don't want is for them to return and being projected in your daily life so that you can finally heal whatever it is that we're pushing down. Our emotions are very important. They're there for a purpose, and they're there to convey important information. So there's research on emotional resiliency that shows that in order to really successfully navigate life, you need to be able to both name the emotion that you're experiencing and describe the feeling that makes up that experience. And this is where our meditation can really help. By training the mind, we are in fact teaching ourselves to become the observer of our emotions. And in this way, when we learn to be the observer, we identify and we become responsive instead of just reacting. So, for instance, going back to the emotion of anger, it is there for a purpose. It's one of the ones that we resist the most. We don't want to feel anger. We don't want to feel that anger. But it is the emotion that gets us to move, gets things done. So rather than suppressing it, pushing it down, pushing it away, because we don't want to be angry, we don't want to be like those who have been angry maybe towards us. But if we just recognize it, what is this anger really trying to teach us? What is it telling us? Do we need to move? Do we need to move from one situation to the next? It's important information that our emotions are telling us. In the role of the observer, we can begin to do that deep inquiry, get curious about the emotion rather than stuff it away. And the observer role, we can feel the feeling without wrapping ourselves around the story. The observer does not have to engage in the story. In fact, children would say, drop the story and find the feeling. So we all have emotional experiences, and in order to experience our natural state, we have to be willing to experience all of the emotions. And this is experiencing the ego and the clinging of the ego. We can even experience how the ego wants to hold on to the story of the emotion. And this may feel a little negative or disturbing even sometimes. It's best to go through. And I know that most people think that meditation is, oh, I'm going to go and chill out and become all zen. But the truth is that meditation is for us to experience what is happening in truth. It's a practice. It's a training. It's a training for us to be able to be fully present with whatever is arising, without judgment, without attachment. And that means without attachment to the stories as well. Dunlop Rinpoche says, in the process of uncovering our Buddha nature, in the process of uncovering our open, unfixated quality of our mind, we have to be willing to get our hands dirty. In other words, what he's saying is that we need to be willing to work with our emotions, especially those that feel unwanted. But he also added something really important to his statement, and he said that without having a direct experience of our emotions, we can never touch the heart of our Buddha nature. He says we can never actually hear the message of the awakening. So we understand that the only way out, so to speak, is through. Feel the feels. How can we experience our emotions as the observer? How do we go ahead and get our hands dirty with these emotions? Tasting, feeling, sensing the emotions. All of the emotions are what we're made of. Happy, sweet, calm, disturbed, fired up. Even in the stillness, we can find all of that and open to all of it and allow them to just flow, to just be. So there's a practice that is called Name It and Tame It. Naming or labeling the difficult emotions or any emotions helps us to disentangle from them, to get unsticky from the stories. And there's great research out that shows how when we actually go through the naming of our emotions, that the amygdala, that part of the brain that registers the danger, that it becomes less likely to trigger a stress reaction in the body just by gently saying, oh, this is anger, I see you. Oh, this is fear, fear is arising. There's an emotional freedom. There's a space that becomes available just by naming. So instead of being lost in the emotion, we begin to recognize what it feels like in the body, where it's located, and just naming it. And therefore, by naming it, it brings us back into the space, gives us that spaciousness to respond as opposed to react. So today we're going to begin to observe the emotions as they arise. And so when we observe, remember that there is no analysis going on. Merely to observe things as they are. To observe exactly what is. We don't analyze and say, what's the root of this? What's the cause of this emotion that's getting us back into the story? It does not bring about any transformation to be stuck in the story. We want to bring about radical transformation. And we can do this by just allowing, observing, right? Just allowing, observing, labeling. So I want you to bring your awareness now to your breath. And if you want, you can place a hand on your heart space so that you can feel that rise and fall, the breath in and out. Focusing on the breath in and out. And if you get distracted, you notice that your mind has wandered off. Just come back to the breath. No judgments. Back to the breath. And as you continue this mindful breathing, we just notice what emotions begin to surface. And we begin to shift the attention from the breath and ask yourself, what am I feeling? What emotions am I feeling right here, right now? Peace, contentment. Get curious. There may be other emotions inside, longing, yearning, loneliness, tenderness. Maybe there's something you're bursting with pride. Sadness. We just label as they show up. And we label the most prominent emotions. Try to identify the strongest feelings that are arising. As you are quietly in the midst of naming these feelings, use your body as an antenna. Perhaps it's picking up on various places that you're storing some emotions. Let your body sense And when you have a label for the strongest emotion of all, I want you to repeat that label with your breath at least 3 times. Gentle, for example, worry, 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 joy, joy, joy. Feel it in your breath. And you can go back and forth between your breath and your emotions. Just allowing, observing. And if something is arising within that is a little too disturbing or overwhelming, focus on the breath. Just come back to the breath. You are safe. You are safe. We begin to notice that as we observe these emotions, there becomes a little more expansion in the body. We may notice that just by observing, the emotion begins to shift, to morph. Separate the story from the observer. There is no analyzing, only observing. You're training your mind. So be patient, be loving, be kind to yourself as you observe. Allowing each and every emotion that needs to surface, to rise, to show itself. No judgment. And coming back to the awareness of your body. Noticing as you do a physical scan and use those antennas of the body, is there any emotion that is buried deep in the back of your heart? Allow it to surface. Is it in your liver? Do that body scan. And just observe it in the body. There's no need to fix it or move it. Just observe. Just by observing it, it starts to change. There becomes a sense of freedom. A sense of freedom and a sense of openness. We begin to breathe in loving kindness into the body. Loving kindness in each breath. You can put your hand on your heart if you want. Feeling the warmth of your hand. Loving kindness flowing in and out of you. Deep into the back of your heart. Loving kindness. Your true Buddha nature. Feeling it flowing, that loving kindness throughout your body. Breathing in that loving kindness to your liver, your gallbladder, your intestines, your stomach. Loving kindness in the pelvic bowl. Loving kindness throughout your entire body. Coming in through that crown chakra lotus. At the top of your head. Loving kindness filling you from the top of your head. All through your brain. The back of your eyes. Through your sinuses. Down through your mouth. Loving kindness all through your neck and spine. Filling every vertebrae. All through the belly. down through the legs and into the toes. Feeling that innate goodness flowing through you. Knowing that whenever emotions arise, it's a beautiful thing. Knowing that we can respond from a place of higher consciousness just by observing what we're feeling. Just to observe it in the body and allow it to be. Feeling that loving kindness in every cell of your body. With this emotional capacity at its highest frequency of love and kindness right now, come back to your heart space. Take a deep breath into your heart. Exhale. And on this next inhale, we're going to pull some of that loving kindness that you have flowing, and we're going to beam it out to humanity. So taking that deep breath in, gather up all that loving kindness, and exhale. Sharing this loving kindness with our brothers and sisters. May all beings feel this loving kindness. May all beings feel their emotions. May all beings feel this love and kindness. May all beings feel their emotions. Feeling that sense of gratitude for all of the emotions that we have in our arsenal, knowing that each one is a beautiful thing. We've come into this human existence in this meat suit here on earth at this time, at this place, to feel the feels, not be triggered by them, but to feel them, to rise in our highest consciousness, and respond. Respond from a place of loving kindness. Even when we're angry, we can respond from a place of loving kindness. Even when we're sad, we can respond. It doesn't mean that we push our feelings down or away. It means that we acknowledge them. We observe them. And then we choose how we wish to be. We choose. We can choose. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhale. And one more in breath. And if you'd like to let out an om on that out breath, thank you for joining me on this meditation. I hope in some way it has helped you to identify your emotions and give you some great tools to be able to move through and navigate them rather than suppressing them. And I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week. I will see you next week. Blessings and blessings.